watching KOMO News.
A deadly shooting in Auburn under investigation this morning. What police say happened moments before those shots rang out.
All eyes on the FDA this morning, how soon they could vote on emergency use for a COVID-19 vaccine for children.
The Washington State Attorney General's office suing 19 chicken producers. I'll tell you why, but first let's get a look at your forecast with meteorologist Kristen Clark.
Yeah, Holly, the wind not nearly as strong today, but still gusting over 20 to 30 miles per hour for Puget Sound, near 40 miles per hour for the northwest interior, and adding showers as well here. First up across the Kitsap Peninsula into areas of King County this morning. You will likely encounter some of this light rain for the morning commute.
And we have a few crashes in addition to the wet pavement here. Kind of hard to see what's going on. WashDOT crews quickly cleared a crash to the side on southbound I-5 in Everett, but the backup from here still lasts. We'll talk about it next.
In just the past hour, we got word Attorney General Bob Ferguson has filed a lawsuit against 19 chicken producers. Ferguson is accusing them of a wide-ranging illegal conspiracy to inflate and manipulate prices, rig contract bids, and coordinate industry supply reductions to maximize profits. The AG's lawsuit also names an industry data reporting service accused of assisting in the conspiracy. The companies include Tyson Foods and Foster Farms. The 19 companies account for approximately 95% of the broiler chicken sold in.
KOMO News is next, then GMA3 and General Hospital on KOMO 4. You're watching KOMO News.
A stolen former school bus taken on a wild and destructive rampage in Seattle's SoDo and Central District. Police say the man behind the wheel rammed nearly 24 cars, many with drivers and passengers inside them. Holly is tracking this developing story for us this morning from the live desk. Holly, do we know who this driver is?
Well, Molly, police believe the driver is a bus service employee who is not authorized to drive buses. This all started just before 8 o'clock this morning. Police say a man stole an empty bus near South Horton and Colorado Avenue South, and you can see by this picture it used to be a school bus. The suspect drove through SoDo, swerving across traffic, running red lights and ramming vehicles, which police say appeared to be on purpose. The suspect went east, reaching Rainier and McClellan, hitting even more vehicles. The suspect struck a King County Metro bus and later crashed into a light rail construction site at 23rd Avenue and Judkins Street, and that's when the suspect got out of the bus and took off. Police say they quickly arrested him.
They crashed into multiple vehicles, upwards of 20, reached speeds of up almost 50 miles an hour, and ended up crashing into a wall that protects the school. Once he exited the bus, he led officers on a brief foot pursuit and was taken into custody.
Wheel of Fortune, tonight at 7 on KOMO 4.
Hidden breast cancer risk.
We have the perfect storm. Higher risk, harder to find.
There are so many cancers out there that aren't being found.
High density tissue, higher cancer risk.
Tonight at 6 on KOMO News. KOMO News is next on KOMO 4. You're watching KOMO News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Developing now, from water leaks to mold and no heat, frustrated residents of a subsidized housing complex in Rainier Valley are demonstrating unsafe conditions today.
KOMO's Tammy Mutasa was at a protest that just ended. She joins us live now with more. Tammy.
Preston and Molly, the folks living here are fighting for basic living conditions. Now, outside, it looks pretty nice, but we went to one of the units inside, and you can see why residents.
You're watching KOMO News.
New at 4 within the last 90 minutes, a CDC panel unanimously recommended boosters of the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. The Moderna booster is recommended for elderly people and at-risk adults 6 months after they complete their primary series of shots. The Johnson & Johnson booster is recommended for everyone 18 and older who received the initial shot at least 2 months ago. Well, local pharmacies are already being slammed with questions about when people can get the shot. KOMO Steve McCarran checked in with how the state is preparing for the surge in demand. He's live in Seattle. What did you find out, Steve?
Well, Mary, let's talk about where things stand now. So according to the state health department, there are still plenty of vaccine doses available across Washington. It also does not expect any sort of supply issues with vaccines in the near future. But the state health department is waiting for more guidance and recommendations before releasing more information about how it's planning to deal with this influx of people who are interested in getting booster shots. So what happens now? Let's talk a little bit about the timeline here. Now that this advisory group has made its recommendations regarding these booster shots, the CDC's director needs to accept those recommendations or modify them. She will issue guidance detailing who should consider getting booster shots, and that includes whether people may mix and match the boosters. Another step in this process, a group of experts from...
You're watching KOMO News.
Developing as we come on the air, it is a weather-worn day. Here's a look from some of our cameras spread out around the Seattle area. It has been a soaker of a day, and the rain is not letting up anytime soon. The commute is looking ugly tonight as thousands hit the rain-drenched roads. Today is shaping up to be the wettest day since last January. An atmospheric river is taking aim on western Washington right now, and with it, those heavy, heavy rains.
And they are heavy indeed. Right now, there are several rivers officially under flood warnings tonight. We have live team coverage of this fall soaker. Meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell standing by on the Weather Center. But we begin with KOMO's Kara Kostanich. She joins us live from Hamilton up in Skagit County, right along the banks of a rising Skagit River. Kara?
And boy, I have to tell you guys, it has been pouring out here all afternoon long. This community right now preparing for what is likely the inevitable. Just a couple hours ago, they brought this big sand pile here along with these sand bags so folks can protect their homes.
Heavy rain across the region has western Washington rivers on the rise.
I'm moving her back to my house where I live across the highway so she doesn't get in floodwater.
Danielle Means, along with her horses, lives in Hamilton along the Skagit River, where tonight residents...
You're watching KOMO News at 6.
Tonight, the skies are mostly clear across the Puget Sound region, a much-needed break after 36 hours of rain courtesy of an atmospheric river.
All that rain caused urban flooding in several areas and forced local rivers to spill over their banks. In some areas, it could be hours still before the water levels drop.
We have team coverage tonight, including Shannon O'Donnell with a much drier forecast. We begin with KOMO Steve McCarron and flooding in Skagit County. Has the water started receding where you are, Steve?
It has here in Hamilton, Mary, but the ground here is still very muddy at the Hamilton boat launch, which sits right on the edge of town, right next to the Skagit River. And what you're seeing there is a drastic improvement from what we saw earlier today. The water's still moving very fast right now, but nearby homeowners tell me that that level has dropped probably about several feet since this morning. Over in Mount Vernon, the river level is not expected to crest for another 5 hours from now. And up to the Skagit River walk.
Oh, yeah. It has risen significantly in the last few hours.
Michael Berthelot can easily see the difference that a few hours can make.
I would say just within the last couple of hours, it looks like it's come up 3 feet. So that's a significant rise in a short amount of time.
The Skagit River not expected to crest here in Mount Vernon until late tonight, when forecasters predict the water level will likely reach around 30 feet, roughly 2 feet.
We'll have the full fan experience here in Seattle.
Niko Tamurian, Sports, KOMO News. You're watching KOMO News.
Start with breaking news. One man is dead after a shooting in Renton tonight. You can see crime tapes covering the parking lot of a Safeway store on Northeast 4th Street. Police say there may have been some kind of dispute before the gunfire. The shooter took off. Right now, no arrests have been made.
Also tonight, a major break in a quadruple murder in Tacoma. Police arrested a man suspected of gunning down 2 men and 2 women on Tacoma's east side last Thursday. This afternoon, a SWAT team helped detectives serve a warrant and arrest a 22-year-old man at a home just a few blocks from the crime scene on Everett Street. The News Tribune reports the victims are a mother, her 19-year-old son, her brother, and her brother's girlfriend. Tamurian. The suspect's name has not been released. He's being held tonight on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Also developing tonight, Seattle's mayor taking action to hire new police officers by using her executive authority.
Citing staffing issues amid a rise in gun violence, she plans on offering huge bonuses for those joining the force. KOMO's Cole Miller is live tonight to break down the details of this emergency order. Cole?
Well, Mary Preston, news of this order broke late this evening. We have learned that the money for these incentives will be coming from the current 2021 budget, and with it